It made me different than everyone else. I may be very introverted as a child.
Lou, maybe I'm different from everyone else. When I was young, I was quite introverted. Lou Ferrigno lost up to 80% of his hearing when he was just 3 years old. Kids called him Louis the Deaf and even broke his hearing aids. At home, his father often beat him when he cried because of the bullying. But Lou fought back. He trained his muscles using scraps from a junkyard, determined never to feel weak again. Success, however, brought new pain. For 5 years, Lou endured painful makeup sessions as a Hulk, which caused burns to his skin. He once tore muscles in his arm, and even saved his daughter from being crushed. Now at 71 years old, his wife of 43 years has left him, saying he used his Hulk-sized strength to intimidate her. Lou Ferrigno's tragedy runs deeper than heartbreak. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss more fascinating stories about classic cinema and entertainment. Leave a comment with 1 if you relate to Lou Ferrigno, or 0 if you have a different opinion. Right now, we're about to reveal all the secrets behind this story. Let's get started. Born in 1951, Lou's life was tough from the start. As a toddler, he suffered severe ear infection, not the kind that heals quickly, but one that caused permanent damage. By age 3, he had lost 75 to 80% of his hearing. The scary part was no one knew until then. His parents only noticed something was wrong when they clapped behind him and he didn't respond. This delay meant he spent his early years nearly silent, without anyone realizing he couldn't hear. When doctors finally figured out, he was fitted with hearing aids. But this was the 1950s. They were big, bulky boxes strapped to his chest with dangling wires. Lou hated how they made him look. He once said he felt like a weird Martian. The devices made sounds louder, but not clearer. Because he missed early language development, his voice was different. People noticed, and the kids at school were not kind. They called him Deaf Louie and Mute, mocking the way he spoke. Some people even punched him in the chest just to break his hearing aids. And he couldn't fight back. He was small, skinny, and slow. He often felt like an outcast, so he escaped into comic books. He read about Superman, Spider-Man, and especially Hulk. Characters who didn't fit in but had hidden strength. Those stories gave him what school never did. At home, life wasn't easier. His father, a tough Brooklyn cop named Matthew Ferrigno, didn't believe in making excuses. When Lou came home crying from bullying, his father didn't comfort him. He hit him. "Don't come home if you can't fight for yourself," he said. When Lou's grades fell because he couldn't shout from the back of the classroom, his father locked the basement gym and said it would stay locked until Lou improved his grades. Lou later said, "My father rejected me because I wasn't perfect." But instead of breaking him, that rejection lit a fire. He wanted to be so strong that no one could hurt him anymore. So Lou adapted. He sat in the front row of every class, learning to read lips like a hawk. If a teacher turned their back to write on the board, he would get lost, but he kept going. Sometimes he didn't even tell teachers he was deaf. He was too ashamed, but he observed, guessed, and figured out everything from people's faces and body language. It was exhausting, but he got through school with absolute focus and resilience. Everything changed in 1964, when Lou was 13. He was watching TV and saw a movie called Hercules, starring Steve Reeves. To Lou, it was like watching a real-life superhero. Reeves wasn't just strong. He looked like the comic book characters Lou idolized. At that moment, Lou knew what he wanted. He didn't just want to read about strength. He wanted to be strength, especially like Hulk. He called Hulk the Green Santa Claus, strong but kind. Lou wanted to be like that. He wanted to be strong enough to never be bullied again. But gyms were expensive, and his family couldn't afford it. So he made his own weights. At 13, he went to a junkyard, found some old cans, filled it with cement, and attached them to a broomstick. That was his first barbell. To make a bench, he nailed 2 large wooden boxes together, used some hinges, and even threw a pillow on it to ease the pain. "It hurt my back," he said, "but I tried to imitate everything I saw in magazines." He trained like this for years. By age 17, he finally joined a real gym, R&J Health Club. But by then he had a solid body built only with scrap metal and determination. However, bodybuilding wasn't enough to pay the bills. So in 1969, at just 17 years old, Lou got a job at a brutal sheet metal factory in Brooklyn. The job paid $10 an hour. Pretty good at the time, about $75 today, but it was dangerous, noisy, and full of machines that could tear off fingers. For someone nearly deaf, it was a nightmare. But Lou kept working because he needed money for food and supplements. While others ate sandwiches, he packed boiled eggs, tuna, and cheese to fuel his workouts. Then one day in 1972, everything changed. A co-worker had his hand crushed by a hydraulic press right next to Lou. That was the last straw. He quit and never went back. There was no job security in bodybuilding, no steady paycheck. But Lou took the risk and it paid off. In 1973, at only 21 years old, Lou Ferrigno shocked the world. He won both Mr. America and Mr. Universe titles. No one his age had ever done that before. He was 6 feet 5 inches and weighed about 285 pounds. He looked like a giant standing next to other bodybuilders, but what made his rise even more powerful was what he had overcome. As a child, Lou lost most of his hearing due to an ear infection. Kids bullied him. He started lifting not just to get stronger, but to feel less alone. A year later, he did the unthinkable again. He won Mr. Universe a second time. In 1975, he entered Mr. Olympia. He didn't win, but third place put him among the elite athletes. That same year, things changed. A documentary called Pumping Iron began filming. It told the story of the competition between Lou and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Lou was bigger. He weighed nearly 50 pounds more than Arnold, but Arnold had something else. He played mind games. He invited Lou and his parents to breakfast before the competition, eating eggs and coffee. Arnold smiled and told Lou he only needed one more month to be ready. Then he bragged about being a 6-time champion, as if he'd already won. Again, Lou called Arnold arrogant, but Arnold's strategy worked. Lou took third place. Arnold brought home his 6th title. Even with 2 Mr. Universe wins, Lou went broke. Bodybuilding didn't pay the bills. For 3 years, Lou worked at a metal shop in Brooklyn, earning $10 an hour. By 1975, he had to quit competing. He was still at his peak, but the prize money wasn't enough to cover the bills. In 1980, Lou married Carla Green. He only had $5,000 in savings. Carla had $7,000. That was it. She once said, "We built our money in our house, and we built it from zero." Lou's size was unheard of at the time. His arms were 23.5 and bigger than Arnold's. He could reportedly lift 900 pounds, though no one confirmed it. However, his strength was real, and so was his size. Tall bodybuilders often looked skinny. Lou did not. He was big but balanced. And all of this happened before the steroid era. His muscles were built through sheer effort, discipline, and the need to prove he was worthy. In 1975, at just 24, Lou shocked fans again. He quit bodybuilding. He wasn't injured. He wasn't defeated. He just couldn't afford to continue. Most contests only paid $1,000. In 1977, things changed again. The people behind the Incredible Hulk wanted a big man to play the Green Beast. At first, they called Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was 6 feet 1 inch with just muscles, but they said he wasn't tall enough. So they tried someone else, Richard Kiel, 7 feet 2 inches, who played Jaws in the James Bond series. They even started filming with him, but then something strange happened. The director's young son came to the set and saw Kiel in costume. The boy said to his dad, "That's not Hulk." Just like that, everything changed. They started searching again, this time for someone who looked like the Hulk in comics. Big, muscular, and intimidating at the same time. Lou Ferrigno was busy training for the 1977 Mr. Olympia contest. Somehow, he got a call for an audition. He showed up. They painted him green and told him to be like Hulk. Lou said he stood in front of the camera, growled, moved like a beast, and they hired him on the spot. He gave up the chance at Olympia to take this role. That decision changed his whole life, but the real work hadn't even begun. Every filming day started with nearly 4 hours of makeup, not just paint. It was thick pancake makeup powder. Green paint stuck to everything. They layered it on 6 layers. Then came prosthetic forehead, nose, and teeth. The worst part was the white contact lenses. He could only wear them for 15 minutes because they were so painful. In the first episode, Lou had to be fully made up as Hulk for 20 straight hours. Yes, 20 hours. So intense he needed a private bathroom built in his trailer just to wash off the paint. Even then, the green color didn't fully come off. His toenails stayed green for 6 months. The physical toll was brutal. In one 1978 scene where Hulk lifted a car, Lou tore a muscle. He also suffered chemical burns from the green makeup, especially on hot days filming outdoors with temperatures over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. The weight changes were crazy too. For some scenes, he had to gain weight quickly, then lose weight for interviews. His nutritionist warned that was dangerous. His skin broke out due to the prosthetics, and he needed treatment between seasons. In 1981, he told People magazine that stress, chemicals, and lack of sleep aged his body to 42, even though he was only 30. However, Lou pushed himself harder than anyone else. He performed 95% of his own stunts. This broke CBS safety rules, but he didn't care. He believed no stunt double could act like Hulk the way he could. Once, he ran through a fake wall that wasn't built properly and injured his back, but he kept filming. If you admire Lou Ferrigno's spirit of pushing beyond all limits, leave a comment saying, "I agree," and hit like to support this inspiring story. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to discover more untold secrets about legendary screen heroes. One night at 4 a.m., a scene required Hulk to flip a car using a cable. The equipment failed. Lou, tired, angry, and covered in green paint, shouted, "You think I won't flip that car?" Then, using pure strength, he flipped the car himself. He said, "I think I..." really became Hulk that night. That back injury still causes him pain today, but if you ask him if it was worth it, he'll tell you he has no regrets. Things got harder because of his hearing. Lou lost most of his hearing at age 3 after an ear infection. He had to read lips to follow directions on set. That worked in quiet scenes, but in action scenes it was chaotic. The director couldn't yell cut, so he had to guess when a scene ended. Sometimes his hearing aid broke mid-scene, and he missed important safety cues. Eventually, he wore 2 at once just to stay alert, and he kept going. Many fans didn't know that Hulk's growls and roars weren't always his. At first, Ted Cassidy, Lurch from the Addams Family, provided the voice. After Cassidy died in 1979, Charles Napier took over. Lou wasn't the official voice, but that changed decades later. In 2012 for Avengers, Lou's voice was finally used. His growls and shouts were blended with Mark Ruffalo's, and again in 2015's Age of Ultron. That means Lou Ferrigno's voice has been part of Hulk for 37 years, longer than anyone else. But fame wasn't easy. Fans loved Hulk, not Lou. They approached him with excitement and wide eyes, but never called him by name. They didn't see the man beneath the paint. That started to wear on him. He said being recognized as a character he couldn't even speak felt strange. He dreamed of being a hero since he was a kid reading comics. Now he was a person, but no one knew who he really was. Even on set, he was lonely. The thick, hot makeup men he had to stay in an air-conditioned trailer between takes just to avoid overheating. While Bixby and the crew joked and bonded, Lou sat alone, sweating and waiting. It reflected Hulk's own loneliness, always on the outside, always misunderstood. In 1983, Lou Ferrigno was ready to live his dream. He had always admired Steve Reeves, the original Hercules, and now it was his turn to play the legendary strongman. The film was called Hercules, but was nothing like ancient Greece. It was full of lasers, robots, and wild sci-fi effects. Lou trained harder than ever and said he was in the best shape of his life. His muscles were huge. Some said they looked ready to burst. But when the film premiered on August 26th, something was wrong. Lou's voice wasn't his. Every word he spoke was dubbed by another man, Mark Smith. But for him, that wasn't enough to justify replacing his voice. "It's a shame," he later said. "It would have made it more of a classic." What was even more painful was watching Arnold Schwarzenegger, his longtime rival, faced the same dubbing years earlier in Hercules in New York. Yet Arnold's career took off while Lou stalled. The film flopped and people in Hollywood started calling Lou a one-note actor. Behind the scenes, things were worse. In 1980, Lou married Carla Green. Between them, they only had $12,000. Carla brought in $7,000, and Lou had $5,000. It was shocking, especially for someone who had just played Hulk in a popular TV show from 1977 to 1982. But fame didn't mean money. Before becoming a star, Lou worked for $10 an hour at a sheet metal factory in Brooklyn. It was a brutal job. One day a man lost his hand in a machine. Lou quit that same week. After the Hulk show ended, money ran out quickly. Carla stepped in. She became his manager, scheduling his appearances and traveling with him to rebuild their life. "We built our money in our house, and we built it from zero," she later said. By 1991, they had reached a breaking point. Vince McMahon, wrestling mogul, offered Lou $500,000 a year, about $875,000 today, to join his new World Bodybuilding Federation. Lou said no, but almost saying yes showed how bad things had become. That same year, Lou tried to return to bodybuilding. 17 years had passed since his last competition. McMahon made him the biggest offer ever for a bodybuilder, $500,000 annually. That alone beat any offer Arnold ever made. But there was a catch. McMahon wanted all athletes to pass drug tests for 3 straight months. Lou didn't like the idea. Meanwhile, Joe Weider, a bodybuilding legend, gave Lou $250,000 cash and $250,000 in advertising for his sports gear. In 1992, Lou took the Weider offer. At age 41, he stepped onto the Mr. Olympia stage and placed 12th after many years away. That was more than respectable. It was a comeback. But Ferrigno's strongest moment wasn't on stage or screen. It happened in 2020 at home. His daughter, Shauna, was playing near his truck when a 1,000-pound air compressor tipped over. Lou immediately lunged forward and caught the machine, stopping from crushing her, but tore his bicep off the bone. "It sounded like a ripping shirt," he said. When he looked down, his arm looked like a child's arm. His muscle was rolled up into his armpit. It was one of the worst injuries a bodybuilder could endure. He was in extreme pain. His career was in jeopardy. But an NFL player named Bubba Smith took him to see a surgeon the next day. Ferrigno had surgery, and after 6 painful months, he was back. He could lift 600 pounds again. He wasn't just strong. He was a father who would do anything, even tear himself apart to protect his child. In the early 90s, something strange happened in Hollywood. Lou Ferrigno, the Green Giant Hulk on TV, quietly became Michael Jackson's personal trainer. No one saw it happen. It wasn't a fitness gimmick or a photo op. It started because Jackson's surgeon said Ferrigno was the only one who could help. Jackson couldn't work out in public, so Lou went in 3 to 4 times a week. He visited Jackson's home. But it wasn't about lifting weights. It was about flexibility, pain management, back issues, light treadmill work, stretching balance balls, and carefully designed routines so Jackson could move on stage without falling, all while Jackson lived on a strict vegetarian diet and sometimes ate only once a day preparing for big shows. As the years passed, something deeper formed. They talk about their childhoods. Both had strict fathers. Both were pushed hard. One was the strongest man on TV. The other was the world's most famous performer. One day, Jackson taught Ferrigno how to moonwalk right in his private gym. Lou said it felt incredible. After training, Jackson became a kid again, playing hide-and-seek with his children. Ferrigno witnessed the pop king become a simple dad. But Ferrigno's life didn't stop in Hollywood. At age 53, he surprised people again. He put on a different uniform, this time a real cop's. Not a TV role, not a stunt. He was trained, tested, passed background checks, got firearm certification, and completed first aid courses. He became a reserve deputy sheriff in Los Angeles County. And it wasn't just an honor. He valued it deeply. His father was once an NYPD lieutenant, so this felt personal. Over time, Lou also served in San Luis Obispo and then Irving, Texas. By 2018, he was wearing badges in 3 different places. He said he didn't benefit from fame. Everything he did, he earned. However, while most people remember him as Hulk, a whole new group got to know Lou through comedy. From 2000 to 2007, he appeared in 20 episodes of The King of Queens, playing himself, but not the superhero version. This was a gentler, funnier Lou, joking with Kevin James, making a live audience laugh, teasing his own fame and loving it. Then came reality TV. In 2012, Ferrigno appeared on Celebrity Apprentice. That's when things got chaotic. Fights broke out, tensions rose, and a breaking point came on screen. Comedian Lisa Lampanelli called Lou and another contestant useless, saying they had only 5 brain cells. In a tense boardroom showdown, Lou snapped. He said, "Lisa's lucky she's not a man, because if she was, I'd throw her out that window." Things got worse. Then, live on TV, he said her lack of fitness affected her brain. But even with all the drama, his team won $50,000 for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. He even danced while mopping in a viral video. He lasted 8 episodes before being fired in episode 9. Just 3 years later, things got ugly at home. In 2015, Lou sued his own brother twice. His brother Andrew ran a business called Andrew Ferrigno Exercise Equipment. Lou said it wasn't fair. It used their shared last name, but had nothing to do with him. The first lawsuit demanded a disclaimer. The second demanded Andrew drop the word exercise. At the time, Lou was worth an estimated $12 million, and Andrew was furious. He told TMZ, "Why does he have to drain my money? I'm confused." Eventually, Andrew gave in. He renamed the business Andrew Ferrigno Equipment. Lou Ferrigno is best known as the original Hulk on the 1970s TV show, but his voice also appears in modern Marvel movies. In the 2008 Incredible Hulk, Ferrigno growled and roared behind the scenes, and when Hulk called Loki a weak god in the 2012 Avengers, it wasn't just Mark Ruffalo. It was a blend of Ferrigno's voice, Ruffalo's tone, and Marvel's sound effects combined into one. Thank you for watching the inspiring story of Lou Ferrigno, the unsung hero behind the powerful voice of the Hulk we all love. What do you think about the unique blend of Ferrigno's and Mark Ruffalo's voices in the Marvel movies? Leave a comment with 1 if you relate to Lou Ferrigno, or 0 if you have a different opinion. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss any exciting videos coming up. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.